Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, SBI Holdings has officially announced the launch of its native crypto asset exchange known as VC Trade Pro. Service on the new market opens yesterday. As Crypto Invest previously reported, the launch was expected at some point in the summer. The exchange is fully approved by the Japanese Financial Services Agency. The decision on the part of a big financial conglomerate to launch a cryptocurrency exchange shows that the idea remains strong on the Japanese market. Despite setbacks such as volatility and price and exchange hacks, Japan remains a hotspot for cryptocurrency activity. Since the 4th of June, SBI Holdings has offered spot trading on VC Trade. The Pro version of the exchange will offer additional trading features. Initially, VC Trade Pro will be listing Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP. SBI remains one of the chief Ripple partners, adding fiat liquidity with the launch of the new exchange. Both VC Trade and VC Trade Pro are bank-backed exchanges offering a different type of experience in comparison to the current array of crypto-only exchanges. The Japanese yen has an important element in the crypto market, at some point becoming the chief source of liquidity for Bitcoin. For those who don't know, working backwards, in 2017, to say it was Japan and South Korea who were controlling the cryptocurrency market. That's not a joke. They were actually completely in charge of the entire market, and this is why many believe that the authorities in South Korea and also in Japan came down relatively harshly on the cryptocurrency markets at the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018, because it was like a wave of confusion that the regulators had no idea what was going on, while millions of people in both of these countries were completely losing their minds for cryptocurrencies. Even going further back, I guess, here's the actual information right here on their website. I do not read Japanese, but this is the, I guess you want to say, the press release of them actually finally launching their website. This has been a very, 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 very long time coming. For those of you who don't know or are not looking at the screen, rather, this is an article from September 2017. It says Japan FSA grants virtual currency exchange license to 11 companies, and SBI Virtual Currencies was one of them who received a license. Keeping in mind, once again, this is 2017. So it's been we are happy August, everyone. About a month away from a 2-year period where they were trying to actually get launched. At the end of 2017, it was widely believed that SBI Virtual Currencies was going to officially launch. That did not happen. There was a whole bunch of regulatory pressure and issues from every single regulator around the world. It was also widely believed that during the middle, if I'm not mistaken, of 2018, that SBI VC was going to completely launch. Also did not end up happening. 2018 was a very odd year. I keep saying that, but it was just complete madness. Everyone kept on expecting things to happen, but they didn't end up happening. Anything that was released or announced or said openly in public was absorbed by any bearish activity. Every time we had incredibly good news during the course of 2018, because people kept on expecting that the market was going to move back up. The moment anyone released any type of news and Bitcoin fell by 8%, that news was swept away, and all anybody cared about was, why is Bitcoin still going down? People were asking me about a day or two ago, I mentioned to someone else in the comment, don't remember your username, why I didn't talk about this. This is and I mean this, this is the only website that I have found. I use about anywhere between 15 to 18 different crypto websites where I get my information from. Make sure that if I find something relatively interesting or something that needs to be spoken about, that other websites are also talking about it as well, and simply not copying and pasting off of each other. But sometimes you do get into a situation where some of them won't release any information, and I found that kind of weird. I did see someone else in the crypto space talking about this, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I decided to look around myself to see if I could find information on it, and there was nothing. This is the only website that has had any information about SBI VC Trade launching. The only one. I have my own feelings as to why I think this is the only cryptocurrency news outlet that's actually talking about this. For those of you who don't know, Ripple/XRP are not very well liked within the cryptocurrency space. Even when I listen to certain podcasts and stuff like that, they make sure, like, they will purposefully go around themselves just to make sure that they don't say the word Ripple and or XRP. Like they'll talk about the top 10 coins and they'll make sure to say, well, you know, we have Bitcoin, we have Ether, we have Bcash, we have Litecoin. They'll make sure to completely go around it. XRP is the number 3 coin. You can't really get around it for those of you who don't like it. It's there. It's probably going to remain at number 3, if not number 2 at some time in the foreseeable future. But this is very good news. This is a very long time coming. Nice to hear that this has finally launched. There's a lot of good things happening with Ripple and XRP, but for some reason people still hate them. If you don't like them, just look the other way or cover your ears. What do people do when they don't like something? Close your eyes. I have no idea what people do when they don't like something. Just don't look at it. Anyway, very good news. Let's hope that this, I want to say, translates into something more, if you understand what I'm saying. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, where is it? There we go. Lightning Labs and Square have sparked a friendly competition to give the Satoshi, the smallest unit of Bitcoin, its own symbol. It started with Desiree Dickerson, the head of operations at Lightning Labs, asked Square Crypto if they could crowdsource a symbol from the community on Twitter. Here's the tweet right here. Each Bitcoin can be broken up into 100 million Satoshis, similar to the way $1 equals 100 pennies, expressed as a number. 1 Satoshi equals that. I'm not going to even read that out. In order for Bitcoin to attain widespread adoption as a currency, the Satoshi will likely have to stand on its own and become widely used and understood. Although Bitcoin has hit the mainstream vernacular, newcomers to the space are slow to realize that it's possible to buy, sell, and transfer fractions of the leading cryptocurrency. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have also, I think everyone has gone through that moment. I got into Bitcoin years ago, 2013, 2014. And even then, you kind of sit there and you're like, well, Bitcoin's $200. I don't want to buy a whole Bitcoin. I guess maybe I'll just buy something else. A lot of people don't realize in general that you can buy fractions of cryptocurrencies. And I think Bitcoin is one of the main thing that people have a hard time with figuring out exactly how much they want to buy, if any at all. And it becomes, the reasoning behind it comes down to the fact that everybody wants to own a Bitcoin because you see it on the news. You see, oh, wow, it's so expensive. Oh, my gosh, I have to get one. And you kind of have this realization, I have 800 in my bank account. I'm not buying a whole Bitcoin right now. So the idea and the topic is, years ago, this was foretold by many of the Andreas Antonopoulos-like figures in the cryptocurrency space, that eventually when Bitcoin's price got too high, people would have to start relying on Satoshis. Part of the reason that people didn't like the idea of relying on Satoshis, or rather the idea of buying fractional Bitcoin, is because you could brag to your friends, hey, I have 300 Litecoin. Well, how much Bitcoin do you have? Well, I have about 0.0218437. And then your friend goes, okay, that doesn't sound really special because you don't have a whole one. So the general overall takeaway is that if Bitcoin does in fact one day reach 100,000, 200,000, 300, 400, $500,000 US per coin, we will be basing our normal prices off of Satoshi. Should the cryptocurrency market continue on its current trajectory over the next 10 years, and Bitcoin does at some point in a miraculous space of time become worth $1 million per coin, and Bitcoin becomes a unit of not only account measurement, safeguarding of funds, but also when you go into a store and you want to buy something, it'll be denominated in Satoshis. This is just the idea. Everything else these other people have been saying over the last 6-7 years has come true. So I'm just going to kind of go with the flow and kind of say that eventually at some point this will also happen. The idea is when you walk into a shop, they will have the price listed in Satoshi. It'll simply say, this is 400 Satoshi, and you will know exactly how much that you have to pay. A lot of people have also gotten into for those who also don't know, I think it said it's somewhere around here. Yeah, there we go. Hashtag stacking sats. That pretty much means that your goal, so saith the internet people of Bitcoin, is that if you are trying to stay for the long term in the cryptocurrency space and you believe that Bitcoin is going to be very big, you should be stacking Satoshis, i.e. pricing out things in Satoshis, as opposed to, I have 0.014 blah, 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 blah of a Bitcoin. There are a lot of people who make it their goal every month, if they can, to try and acquire 10 million Satoshis, 5 million Satoshis, because a lot of people do think, And I know this is a little far-fetched that if Bitcoin does become large enough and does once again continue rising in price, eventually we will potentially have a point where one Satoshi is worth or would be worth $1. And therefore, the idea is if you are stacking 10 million Satoshis per month, in 10, 15 years, you could potentially then have the equivalent of $10 to $15 million that you are accumulating per month from little money that you were putting into the cryptocurrency market. So back on track. I just had to explain all of that because I think a lot of people are relatively new to the channel. Hello to all of you, and did not understand or maybe had not even heard what a Satoshi was. A lot of people actually price things out in Satoshis. I've actually started pricing things out in Satoshis in my mind. It takes a while to get there. I won't lie to you. It does take a while, but eventually, here's the actual thing right here. You do end up getting to the point where you're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And you start pricing things in Satoshis. So the fact that they're trying to now crowdsource an actual symbol for the Satoshi, I think is going to be very necessary because at some point, where Bitcoin is right now, we can usually understand the normal price of Bitcoin in US dollars, or even sometimes the Satoshis, like even this would be the equivalent of like $990, 0.01 Satoshi. So this is around 990, give or take. But once we end up hitting $238,421 price Bitcoins, no one's going to know what the Satoshi value is in Bitcoin to the US dollar anymore, as far as off the top of their head. So anyway, I'm rambling on about Satoshis. The entire point is that at some point we will have a Satoshi price money metric number symbol thing. And I hope it doesn't look ugly, because whatever ends up winning is what we're going to have to deal with until like year 2300, when something else is invented that overtakes Bitcoin. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, China once again has right on the mark decided to release another set of crypto rankings. The Center for Information and Industry Development, or the CCID, under China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, released its 13th update of its crypto ranking projects on Tuesday. The total number of projects ranked has grown to 37, with 2 projects added since the last rankings in May. China has had a very weird relationship with the cryptocurrency space. They hate us, but they continuously release information about the cryptocurrency space, especially cryptocurrency rankings, which is very, very odd. And also, for those of you who missed it a couple of days ago, China decided to, they released like a long PDF public notice about the benefits of Bitcoin and how Bitcoin can make you rich, and where Bitcoin's price was and the potential of Bitcoin's price in the future. It's kind of weird. So here are the actual rankings for those who are not looking at the screen. China ranks these cryptocurrencies as the top 10 cryptocurrencies according to them. Number 1 is EOS. Number 2 is Ethereum. Number 3 is Tron. And then you have Knowles, GX Chain, BitShares, Ontology, Neo, Steam, Cosmos, and I think number 11 is actually Bitcoin. And then it goes Stellar, Nebulas, Lisk, Waves, Ethereum Classic, Komodo, Quantum, Sia, Arc, Dash, Nano, Stratus, Zilliqa, Tezos, Bcash, Verge, Cardano, Monero, Ripple, Zcash, Hcash, Litecoin, Decred, Bytecoin, IOTA, and Zem, Nem, whatever. I hate that the X is in front of it. So a lot of people usually don't like their rankings. People use them as more of a speculative tool to kind of figure out if China thus far has not openly said that they are okay with cryptocurrencies and have not officially allowed them as a payment method or whatever within their country, they could potentially go forward with them as an investment strategy or an investment tool, an investment vehicle within the country to tell other people to invest in them, as opposed to being like, oh, you can buy this with this. They say, you can purchase this to be able to invest in them. Like I said, a lot of people don't care for the rankings. They have a very odd mix of coins, to be completely honest. EOS beating Ether rattles a couple of chains because people think that Ether is better than EOS. Tron being number 3, effectively putting it extremely close to Ether and EOS, also doesn't make a lot of people very happy. And then you have Knowles, GX Chain, BitShares, Ontology, and Neo, and I guess maybe even to a certain point, Steam and Cosmos, taking up the number 4 to number 10 slot. A lot of people don't hold these coins. These coins are never really in the news. So the speculation runs amass quickly around whatever, because people are like, why would they be talking about these coins if no one really holds them, if they have incredibly low market volume daily? Anyway, this is another one of their released rankings for the cryptocurrency space. You can give me your own opinion as to why you think China does these things. I think that they're working towards finding a way to regulate cryptocurrencies within their country, but make sure that people don't use it as a way to pay for things that will probably, for a while, remain the renminbi. But I think they're definitely understanding. First of all, China also has a huge portion of control over the mining percentage within China, and I assume they're not trying to lose that anytime soon. Especially, imagine if you were a country, and imagine if you figured out that there was some new tool that could potentially destroy you and your economy, and then you realize that a good 40 to maybe 70% of it actually resides in your land. You're like, okay, I'm going to make sure that stays there, and also possibly even put funding into it. That part is speculation, obviously, but if you've ever done any research on China, they probably want to keep the Bitcoin mining industry heavily within their borders. Anyway, let us move on. There we go. Why was I scroll down? Anyway, a newly formed foundation is revealing how to boost its plans to boost the adoption and development of the XRP ecosystem. The fund's website says the Netherlands-based foundation will be used to support the development of tools, apps, integrations, plugins, all that make it easier to use XRP for consumer, small businesses, and payments. The site also goes into detail about how the fund will be formed, or was formed a few months ago. They said over 90 exchanges were tested by some of the XRP community members. The XRPL implementation, different transaction types were tested, and results were sent to the exchanges. Some exchanges decided to reward the community for their efforts. We, the testing community members, decided to use the bounties to start the XRP community fund. The founder of the Ripple-backed startup XRPL Labs, Vitsavind, is one of the directors and board members of the foundation. Here's the actual thing right here, the XRP community fund, the website. Little bare bones, but they have like the bounties and stuff like that they're looking for. I'm not going to read all this stuff out. Stats collection, stats proxy and validation, file beat, long stash, elk stack importer, and then it kind of goes on. You can imagine what happened also during the course of 2017, the very three first months of 2018, is that a lot of cryptocurrencies. It was two things that were happening. The US SEC had come forward and said that they thought a lot of cryptocurrencies might be deemed securities and therefore fall under their jurisdiction. They also announced that if the coins were decentralized enough and were used not only by the company or as an investment tool, that they would then be declared decentralized enough and therefore not fall under the jurisdiction of the SEC. On top of that as well, the third little crust on top of the cake was that a lot of coins were realizing that there were more usages for cryptocurrencies as opposed to just being a payment method, a payment option, or therefore just sending value back and forth. And that kind of got launched across multiple platforms. For those of you who remember, that was you started the ICO craze, the STO craze, the IEO craze, the cryptocurrency platforms making sure to announce that they had some type of a smart contract platform that they had integrated, and also everyone trying to create video games on their platforms. Everyone is still, I think, in a bit of a fog, and they're trying to still look for the exact use case for their cryptocurrencies. I don't think that each cryptocurrency is going to have one use case. I think many of them are going to have multiple use cases. If you want to hear something even weirder, there was something a couple days ago I was listening to, and this guy was saying, he said he thinks that Bitcoin has so many other use cases that people can't even think of. And the host was like, what are you talking about? He says he thinks that Bitcoin is also a clock. Stay with me. What he pretty much meant was that you can actually tell time by when this event happened, when this block was mined, and saying accordingly, we predict that this is going to happen at this certain time, and then this actually does end up happening at this time based on the number of blocks that are going to be mined. If you kind of get what I'm saying. So we are still on not even the cusp. We are at the very beginning of the cusp. That doesn't make any sense. For where the cryptocurrency space is going to go and exactly how big this could become. So at the moment, the team from Ripple has started funding a number of other cryptocurrency projects and communities and funds and blah, blah, blahs around the world to, I think, not only make sure that their coin wasn't considered a security. This is why I think to another extent that we've seen an expansion or spread out of Ether, of Litecoin, not really, but even things like Tron, I think, have tried in their own way to get their coins used on BitTorrent and other platforms. They didn't really work out too well, but you kind of get what I'm saying. I think the people from Ripple have the most money, so they are probably doing the utmost when it comes to actual usage of it outside of it. So this is the actual XRP Community Fund website. And here is the funding suggestion page. I think so many of these things get not even looked over. I don't think even people know that they are there to look at. So much of I've noticed, people have been asking me why I haven't been talking as much about Ripple and or XRP. I mean, I'm not in love with them. Like, I don't make out with them on weekends, so I can't really, that point. But I've noticed a huge lack in the amount of circulating Ripple and or XRP news. And then I have other friends who are really into Ripple and XRP, and they go, dude, did you hear about this? And I'm like, no, like, it's just not on other websites. They kind of, I'm pretty sure there's something happening behind the scenes where they're trying to make sure that they don't get any spotlight, because it's fairly certain, or rather we know for a fact, this isn't even like an uncertainty at this point, that the team from Ripple, they work very heavily with regulators around the world. Many of the board members on Ripple's team are actually regulators from around the world. They have banking members, so they have very close ties, especially even with the SBI holdings. SBI is one of the, I want to say it's either the second or the first. I can't clarify the first one. They're one of the largest banks within Japan, and they kind of have influence over other banks in their area. And I think the head of SBI is also one of the heads of Ripple and has announced his undying support for XRP and its usage. And he's the one who said a couple months ago, a year ago, that he expects XRP to hit $10. So, I think a lot of stuff is happening behind the scenes. And if you kind of make sure that people don't know about the news, then therefore they won't know about it. And it's kind of a shame. It kind of is what it is. But people have their own love for certain coins, but there's a definite seething hate for XRP that I think will never kind of go away. When XRP does eventually go back up in price, we're definitely going to hear a lot of the people who, I notice all the comments. And I remember seeing before in 2017 when people hated XRP and then the price of XRP was going up, the same people were asking how to buy XRP. And then as the price of XRP went down, they were like, it's crap, I hate it. And I'm like, yeah, but you sure loved it for those couple of weeks when you were making money. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, online retailer Overstock.com has announced it will pay shareholder dividends in a digital security listed on its affiliate company T0's trading platform. The move, approved by the company's board of directors, will see that the one digital voting series A1 preferred stock will represent 10 shares of common stock, or 10 shares of voting series B preferred stock, according to a statement released on Tuesday. Approximately 40,000 holders hold around 37 million shares. My, that is crazy. 40,000 people hold 37 million shares. Meaning that at a 10-to-1 ratio of common stock to Series A1 shares, approximately 3.7 million digital shares will be distributed. These include shares that are held as part of the investor's 401k or IRA programs. The point is that Overstock.com, which I believe was trying at some point to be bigger than Amazon, around 2 years ago announced, no, I think it was 5 years ago, announced that they were going to be accepting cryptocurrencies as a payment option on their website. About a year and a half ago, the people from Overstock said that they're trying to focus more heavily on the cryptocurrency space. A couple of months ago, the people from Overstock launched I think it was a T0 trading platform or T0 cryptocurrency exchange, but I think they were focusing solely on things that would be listed as security tokens. And apparently now they're going to be paying dividends for their shareholders, people who hold their stock in the T0 cryptocurrency. So that's the major significant news. This news was more around than the SBI news or the actual Ripple Community Fund Foundation thing. Kind of weird, right? And I don't mean this in a not even a mean way. I was once also new to finance, and a lot of people I didn't understand for a long time what a dividend was. So for those of you who are wondering what a dividend is, because I've definitely seen some people in the comment section before like, what is he talking about? Long story short, if you buy a stock in a company, let's say Overstock, and they have a dividend, which is pretty much something that says every 3 months, sometimes every 4 months, we will pay you 30 cents for holding onto our stock. That is a dividend. So pretty much if you are holding a stock, you get 30 cents every 3 months. Let's say you're holding 10 stocks, you get $3. If you hold 100 stocks, you get $300. Yeah, there we go. I think I said that correctly. You know what I mean. Every 3 months. And now they're apparently trying to pay out the dividends or the quarterly money to their shareholders, the people holding their stocks, every 3 months in their cryptocurrency. That's the big news. I wish them the best of luck. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I have a very strong and strange feeling because we saw a lot of things like this at the beginning of 2019. And I was like, okay, it's going to get a little rocky. There are a lot of companies and institutions and basketball teams and football teams and every other else company who's trying to launch their own cryptocurrencies because I think that they think that these things are going to last, that they're going to be widely used. Not to say that T0's coin, whatever, isn't going to be widely used, but I have a very strange feeling if a lot of these coins, prices, and things like that don't match the returns that Bitcoin has, a lot of them are going to be like, hey, can we start receiving dividends in Bitcoin? That's going to be a very interesting moment in our history. When we have a major company who announces that they're going to start paying out dividends to their shareholders in Satoshis, that's going to be one of the craziest moments of my life. Anyway, moving on from this to kind of finish things off for those who do not know, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the first time since 2008. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday lowered interest rates for the first time since the Great Recession in 2008 to help stave off the possibility of an economic downturn. Policymakers led by Fed Chairman Jerome Powell voted 8-2 in favor of a small cut in the federal funds rate and recommended, anyway, wow, I can't say that word, to their promise to act as appropriate to sustain the country's longest economic expansion in history. Interest rates, which affect the cost of borrowing for credit cards and mortgages, are now set to hover between 2% and 2.25%. For those of you who have no idea what I just said, I'm trying to explain it quickly. In 2008, when the economy was not doing very well, what ends up happening is, remember we were talking about there's two sides of it. You can devalue your own currency to make it more appealing to foreign investors to get into your economy. The other side of it is when people take out loans or borrowing stuff, credit cards, mortgages. I'm pretty sure a lot of you, if you have mortgages, you've definitely seen it before. Your interest rate is around 3.45%, and this is what you have to pay over the course of the next 10 years until it is reevaluated, and then you have another interest rate that's so and so and so and so. This usually determines how much people want to borrow or take out or buy from mortgages or so and so and so. If you end up having an interest rate of, let's say, around 3%, that's not a problem. I don't mind paying back 3% on the money that I borrowed for my mortgage. And then the next year, someone goes, well, how would you like a 2% interest rate? You go, well, I was looking at that place across the street. It makes it more appealing to investors who are trying to send their money or get their money or whatever the case might be. It makes borrowing more attractive to investors. This usually applies to sometimes smaller investors, i.e., people trying to get mortgages, trying to start small businesses, whatever, what have you. But for people who are trying to build like mega complexes and all these other things, it's very appealing to them. Like we've had interest rates, or there have been other interest rates before, like 1%. Like you are basically paying back nothing. You're getting a lot of free money to build these other things that are going to make you more money. And this is kind of the way that it's working. What we've seen is that over the last 10 years, the economy has been going up. It has been doing fairly well. What's happening now is that the economy is not doing very well. It's showing signs of weakness. And what the Federal Reserve has done has effectively lowered the interest rate before, making it more appealing for people to want to take out loans. If they continue doing it, it'll be an incredible sign for the cryptocurrency community. But on the other side, for the traditional financial markets, it'll show that there is an increased amount of weakness, because if they end up lowering this to around, let's say, 1.75, 1.5, 1.25%. It means that the economy is not doing well. It's showing signs that it's not going to continue to do well. So they're trying to lower it as much as possible to be able to get people to push more money into the economy to kind of stimulate the economy, if you will. I think a lot of people are going to wake up to this news and are going to be very surprised that this actually ended up happening. A lot of people were expecting Fed rate cuts years ago. I remember in 2011, 12, 13, when people thought that the market was going to go back down, we were expecting other rate cuts. It actually did not end up happening. They were also expecting them around 2016, 2017, also did not end up happening. And now we've had our first one in the last 11 years. That's kind of completely insane. A lot of people think that this will be very beneficial to the cryptocurrency market because, once again, for those of you who have been paying attention, or for those of you who have been at least watching 10 minutes of any type of traditional financial news, you will see the world is not doing very well, especially with the economic slowdown in many other major countries, in India and definitely in China, and also within the United States. There's also something I was watching yesterday. It was really fascinating. They were talking about that a lot of countries, for those of you who don't know, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it kind of ties into it. When normally the United States decides to rather, when you recycle or when you throw away your trash, a lot of people think that trash kind of disappears into the stratosphere. It doesn't. It gets put onto shipping containers and shipping boats and gigantic vessels and actually gets shipped to China, gets shipped to the Southeast Asian countries. Same thing for Canada. Same thing for, I think, Mexico as well. They all send their stuff to China and to Asia. The last couple of months, they've been rejecting these boats and they've actually been sending them back to the United States. And now there's no space for all of this. So there's a lot of tension, a lot of trade stuff going on back and forth. And the economy's, I'm expecting something to happen by the end of the year. I think it would fit perfectly with everything else that's been going on. It's been a very good year for cryptocurrencies. A lot of things have been launching. A lot of innovation and framework has been built, but the old traditional financial markets are definitely showing their age, if you kind of want to say that. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Strange Radio Central, Damien, Bankroll Network, Master Ventures in Thailand, 242 to the World, Triple M and J, My Keto Kitchen, Asim M. El Zofri, okay? Adobo, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Nield, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Crypto Joe, Mohair Maroney, Carl Birchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Clara T. Snowden, Crypto Artist Coldy 3D, Nicholas Runner with One Piece One Love, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich the Third, Arv Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Tom Sucks at Basketball, and Sam Skips Leg Day. Jeremy the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, and Meh Can Nick. Thank you all very much for your support at the moment. The cryptocurrency market is once again all over the place. It's been this way for about a good week and some change. Bitcoin is currently, when I woke up, it was at $10,000, like $18. It is currently at $9,991.69 on this website. It looks like prices are trying to go back up. Yeah, not really much to be said. Litecoin was also, I think it had scratched the surface or was just above $100. It looks like the prices might be trying to go back down. No one knows what's happening. I'm pretty sure. I'm certain that it's actually just whales trying to push the prices back down. The prices have been trying to go back up for the past couple of days, for those of you who have not noticed. But heavy-handed individuals seem to be constantly trying to make sure that it does not do so. Maybe in an effort to kind of keep the market down, continue negative sentiment, or try to accumulate as much more as possible as they see that good things are happening more and more every single day. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. I'm still tired. I slept a little bit too long, but I woke up once again, ran to the computer, made a video. I'm shocked at myself. I didn't mess up as much as there. See, my gosh, I didn't mess up as much as I normally do on videos. I was trying to be a smart aleck, and lo and behold, thank you all once again for watching and listening. And I will definitely talk to you all soon. See you.